WFLA Now will begin momentarily. WFLA Now will begin momentarily. Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida. Top stories, breaking news, interactive coverage in the palm of your hand. This is WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY. Here's JB Biunno.
A quote-unquote gut-wrenching week in the looming Gabby Petito civil trial, as Petito's parents and Brian Laundrie's parents come face-to-face for the first time since Gabby's death. Plus, is the public satisfied with the resolution in the Carlee Russell case following her sentencing in Alabama? We're going to be breaking it all down here on a Friday live stream from the Stream Center right here on WFLA Now. Hi, folks. Happy Friday to you, wherever you're watching from. A Friday live stream here, a little bit more casual today as we kind of go over some of the bigger headlines of the week on WFLA.com. We're talking a little bit about some other topics as well towards the back end of the live stream, some things I'm excited to kind of chat with you about here, and we're really going to be paying attention to the comment section here on the on YouTube Live. This is just for WFLA.com, where of course you can watch, and then on YouTube Live, where you can comment and watch along. And why don't we, for the first time in a while, why don't we activate the emoji wall just for fun? Any emoji that you throw up in the comment section, yeah, anyone. I mean anyone. You pick whatever emoji you like. If you comment with an emoji in the comment section, it'll fly up here on screen. And just to see how everyone's doing out there. Let's see what kind of emojis we're getting. All right, we're getting some laughing emojis. We're getting some, I think that's the hand wave emoji there, right? Let's see what we got. Well, people are, yeah, so Sean is saying happy Friday. Our great moderators are saying, hey there, JB. Hello, hello. Melanie is saying happy Friday. We're getting some heart emojis from Justine. Cynthia. Anna Claire Brown's got the fire emoji. Look at that. We got some birds, some butterflies, some frogs, money. It's fun fun to see what folks are commenting on. We'll have some more fun later on in the live stream. But yes, we want to start here with of course, the story that you guys picked as the lead. We asked you in a YouTube live poll. We can now close out that poll. What you guys wanted to be the lead story, and 86% of you said that you wanted it to be the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie civil trial, as far as, of course, that happening in May of next year. But this is one of the biggest weeks of the year in the looming civil trial. Depositions. Let me explain what depositions are. Depositions are on the record statements that are taken, really a line of questioning between the parties in a civil case ahead of the civil trial itself. It's of course, the transcripts are entered into the record that can then be used at trial when, of course, trial happens in May. But there was some confusion here about depositions. So let me just, some people are going to say, JB, that's really obvious. But other people out there who had a lot of questions about this, depositions are closed-door meetings. There was no trial that took place or pretrial hearing. There was no judge or jury or courtroom even. This was this week on Wednesday. I believe it was Tuesday and Wednesday, right? If my days are correct here. Yeah, the 10th and the 11th. So Tuesday and Wednesday. We had the Petitos and their attorney, and then the Laundries and their respective attorneys just meeting in a conference room in Venice, Florida. Now, can you imagine for a moment just how tense that is to begin with? Remember, rewind now to 2021, September 2021 to be exact, really late August. You have Gabby Petito's parents, Nicole Schmidt and Joe Petito, desperately trying to find their daughter. Their daughter's fiance, their future son-in-law right there, Brian Laundrie, after in the middle of their cross-country road trip, takes the van that they were traveling in and ends up back in Florida at home. But no sign of Gabby. Gabby is completely gone. And so, of course, it's only natural for Gabby Petito's parents right there, Joe and Nicole. You see them on the left and right. You see Jim back there, Jim Schmidt, Gabby Petito's stepfather, and I believe that Tara's also in attendance in the shot as well. They desperately try to get a hold of the Laundries, Brian included. Remember, Brian is very much, at the house and present as far as this chapter of the story. Brian Laundrie, Chris Laundrie, his dad, and Roberta Laundrie, his mom, are at their home in Northport, Florida, as is the van. And the Petito parents, Gabby's parents, are desperately just trying to get any response. Calling, texting, Facebook messages, you name it, trying to just get an answer. Where is Gabby? And they get radio silence, crickets, absolutely nothing. It would take a lot of public outrage in the story becoming national for them to hear something in the form of a statement from their attorney, the Laundrie attorney, Stephen Bertolino, who put out a statement expressing hope that Gabby would be found. Of course, which caused frustration because they're trying to find Gabby and not getting much help from perhaps the only people that might be able to point them in the right direction. So for a period of more than 2 years, Gabby Petito's parents, Joe and Nicole, don't hear anything from Chris and Roberta Laundrie. And that's heartbreaking to them because they were supposed to be in-laws. These families were going to be coming together with the marriage of Gabby and Brian. And so to not hear back from them, it just didn't feel right. I mean, can you put yourself in their position? I think a lot of people did. That's why people were parading around the neighborhood with signs like, "Where is Gabby?" Because to not get any response from the Laundries and for the Laundries to be completely silent other than the statement put out by Bertolino it just doesn't sit right in your gut. Why would you be silent when all you're trying to do is find Gabby? So 2 years elapse before they are finally in the same room. So let me just set the stage for you what happened on Tuesday. They meet in Venice, Florida. I was told it was a conference room. On one side of the conference table, you had Chris and Roberta Laundrie, and then Stephen Bertolino, who showed up, and then respective attorneys. On the other side of the conference table, Joe Petito, Pat Riley, his attorney, and then Nicole Schmidt, Gabby's mom, was listening in on Zoom. And on Tuesday, Chris Laundrie was questioned. And on Wednesday, Roberta Laundrie was questioned. And I was maintaining contact with various people associated with this story on both sides of that conference table. And talking just a little bit and trying to get some insight as to what it was like in the room. Now, as a reporter, these are closed-door depositions. So most of it, if not all of it, what people really want to know, what the Laundrie said when they were sworn in and had to answer questions from Petito attorney Pat Riley. What you really want to know, what did the Laundrie say after having to finally answer questions for the first time? We don't know that because these are closed-door depositions. They are private for a reason. Now, the transcripts exist. And I know people are going to ask, okay, when will the transcripts come out? We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But exactly what the Laundries had to say, that's going to be, of course, part of the trial itself in May of next year. The answers and the responses that were given. Why didn't you respond to calls and text messages? Roberta, why did you seemingly, allegedly block Nicole on social media? all of these questions that have been looming in the minds of people associated with the story for years. People were getting really close to answers here. But these depositions are closed door. And of course, because of that, even I as a reporter, I'm not getting any information that I can, of course, report. What I can talk to you about is just kind of what it was like in the room. And I can share this without, of course, violating any of the legal process when it comes to the closed door depositions, that Tuesday and Wednesday were very different. And I confirm this with multiple people, that the tenor and the feel in the room was much, much different. Tuesday was a day that was emotional. There was a lot of different complex emotions, and emotions were really running high. And talking to people associated with the story, people that were in the room, talking to Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, there was just it was a very emotional day. Talking about Gabby, talking about Brian, these were two that were in love enough to, of course, get engaged and want to see the country and go on this cross-country road trip, and for it to end in such a horrific tragedy, it of course is going to, it brought a lot of emotions that perhaps had gone somewhat dormant for a couple of years. As, look, it's only natural for people to at least try to get on with some resemblance of normalcy with their lives. But it brought it all back into the forefront. Things that might have been even nudged towards the back burner a little bit over these last 2 years. It all came back to the surface. It all came to the front burners. And that caused a lot of emotions. Yeah, even some, again, without reporting specifics, there were emotions on both sides of that conference table. And of course, people can read into that what they will. But Tuesday was the emotional day where emotions were really running high. And it was difficult to go back to what life was like in 2021 for these families when everything was blowing up and it was the biggest news story on the planet. You go into Wednesday. Tuesday was the day when Chris Laundrie, the father, here you see the Laundries from some file video we had from years back. There you see in the green hat there, Chris Laundrie, Brian Laundrie's father. He was questioned on Tuesday. That was the emotional day. The day things really changed on Wednesday when Roberta Laundrie was questioned. That was met with a completely different response. It was probably the most accurate way to describe it was there was some disbelief that settled in on Wednesday, as I was told, because of just how this is based on now one side of the conference table. I'm giving you an account from one side of the conference table and talking to Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt that Roberta Laundrie was emotionless as she answered questions. Very different from Chris Laundrie, Brian's dad. Brian's dad, as he was answering questions, it brought up a lot of emotions in the room. While as Roberta was answering questions, again, according to Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, this is, again, attributing to them, and Pat Riley, their attorney, it was very different because it was very stoic, direct responses to questions without showing any emotion. The words were, and I will read this from Nicole Schmidt. She had texted me this as soon as it was over. "There is pure evil in this world. I have witnessed it firsthand." And this is, again, one mother listening to another mother. This is Gabby's mom listening to Brian's mom. And Gabby's mom not hearing any emotion whatsoever in the voice of Roberta Laundrie, Brian's mom. And so, and then I talked to Joe Petito, and Joe Petito echoed a lot of those sentiments. That it was that the responses were so direct and delivered without any sense of emotion whatsoever. But Joe Petito was was at a loss. He was speechless. He repeated it to me over and over and over again. He could not believe that in the 2 days, I think they were together for about 2 to 3 hours on Tuesday with Chris Laundrie's testimony or deposition, and then on Wednesday with Roberta's, they had about 3 to 3.5 hours. So over 5+ hours, Joe was speechless that they were. I mean, think of a conference table. They had to have been 5-6 feet away from one another. And not one single time, according to Joe Petito, not one time did either of the Laundries look in Joe Petito's direction. He couldn't believe it. He said, it's not a big room. It's not that we're not that far away. It's a very close proximity setting. And to not look his way one time, he thought he was astonished that it was even possible that over the course of, when you're having basically, depositions are a conversation. Now it's a very, it can be a very rigid, direct question and answer type of conversation, but it's a lot of people in the room, all, close to one another. And for there not to be any eye contact from Chris or Roberta in the direction of Joe was speechless. There's Joe Petito right there. He could not believe it. Now, he said that Bertolino and he had some eye contact a couple of times, but that Chris and Roberta would not look his way one time in 5+ hours. And that didn't sit right with him. So Pat Riley said, the quote to me for WFLA.com was, "We learned a lot in the last 2 days that we didn't know before." And I have heard through that statement and other statements that I have received, that the Laundries gave answers to questions that will be new information when, of course, this does in fact go to trial next year. I have also been told that the chances of settlement are virtually zero. And I bring that up because so often in civil cases like this, when you have a civil dispute, it is so common before this reignites all of this story all over again for the public at large. It's so common for an out of court settlement. Now, I reported in the past about settlement attempts in the past, about how I believe it was Bertolino who had allegedly, based on the report, had made I think based on the court documents, had made a settlement offer. We don't know too much about what that settlement included, but that's common. Almost every civil case on the planet, there will be an attempt to settle out of court. That's just how it works. But the chances of this, I've been told repeatedly, even before this week of depositions, that Gabby Petito's family, they want the truth to come out. That it isn't that dollars here aren't going to satisfy that side of the equation. They want to set the record straight. They want the answers. They want the public to know the answers, and they want to use Gabby's legacy as a means to help others. The Gabby Petito Foundation, they talk about extensively, and raising awareness for missing persons, raising awareness for domestic violence situations, and they continuously are trying to do more. In fact, they have a fundraiser coming up in November. So they're trying to do good through Gabby's legacy, but it's very important to them that, and again, this is through conversations that we have had, that the truth comes out. And the biggest question is, why would the Laundries not help in any way, shape, or form when the Petito and Schmidt families were so desperate for answers? With that, on this story, let's open it up to questions. Starting now, you can use hashtag HeyJB, punch in your comment, your question. It can be a question about the case. It can be a question, of course, about the trial. It can be an observation, just for the next 10 minutes, just about Petito versus Laundrie. Let's get into some of your questions and comments. But I know one of the biggest is going to be, when will the transcripts drop? We're trying to find that out. The excerpts of the transcript will undoubtedly be used at trial. But the full transcripts, obtaining them, WFLA, of course, will make every attempt possible, but they are closed-door depositions, and they are not inserted into the public record until, of course, we get closer to trial. There is no timeline, and there is no guarantee that we get the entirety of the transcripts. It all depends on circuit court policy and really just how things progress in the coming months. We will know more about the Laundrie's responses, no doubt. But as far as when, we don't have a clear picture. All right, Hannah's first up here in our comment section. Oh, I can't click it there. I got to click it. Hold on. I clicked on it in the wrong spot. So, wow. Okay. They're flying in really quickly. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I just gotta filter it down so that I just see #KJB, and then I can kind of pick out some of the comments. Karen says, cannot wait for the Petitos to get some answers. Finally, Hannah, this is the one I saw. Can you get a psychiatrist to speak on the eye contact? Yeah. I really think that a body language expert / psychiatrist, somebody in the field of interpersonal communication and psychology, and again, body language really, not making eye contact with Joe. Was it talked about ahead of time? We're not going to look his way. We're just going to, was there a legal strategy behind it? You know what's interesting, guys, and I know you'll be thinking, you got to remember that, in Depp versus Heard, Johnny wouldn't look Amber's way a single time, and he had a very deliberate reason for that. He said, "You'll never see my eyes again." I forget the exact quote, but there was a deliberate strategy to never look at Amber, despite the fact that she was on the stand testifying, and her testimony really was at the center of a multi-million-dollar defamation suit. With the world watching, Johnny wouldn't look Amber's way. Was there a similar strategy in play, or was there this notion that was put forth where the Laundries just said ahead of time, we're not looking at Joe Petito? Was it discussed? Because Joe said it was, again, he could not believe that. I mean, it's almost natural. Even if you sneezed and you looked up and you looked that person's way, even inadvertently. No, it was the entirety of the 2 days. 2 hours plus on Tuesday, 3 hours plus on Wednesday. Not one time did the Laundries look at Joe. And they were, right here. Mere feet away from each other. Christy. Yeah, let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get my schedule. I have a schedule of the deposition, Christy. Her comment is, other than Cassie, any other people who will be part of the deposition? Yes, I have a schedule that I wrote down in my reporter notes. Hold on one second. So the deposition schedule is heavy simply because you have three parties, really. You've got Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt are the plaintiffs. And then really two sets of defendants now. You have the Laundries right there, Chris and Roberta, who are being represented by a new attorney by the name of Ryan Gilbert, who hasn't yet responded to any of my calls or emails or anything like that. I hope he responds at some point. And then you have Bertolino right there. Bertolino is now a co-defendant, was earlier this year added as a co-defendant. So you have basically three sides of the triangle, and they're all going to depose one another, so to speak, or at least have the opportunity to. There's going to be a lot of different deposition opportunities in different directions. The big one that people keep asking about, and I can tell you that it's coming up on November 6th, is Carlee Laundrie. So, yes, Christy, to your comment, is she going to be part of the deposition? Yeah. And people associated with this story have that one circled because, again, okay, so why is Carlee Laundrie a big deal? Let's talk about it. Carlee Laundrie is considered to be a big deal because when Chris and Roberta, when Brian's parents wouldn't talk, Carlee was talking. Did interviews with Good Morning America, confronted demonstrators outside of her home in Florida. Didn't shy away from the spotlight. If anything, went on camera with the demonstrators simply because she wanted to just say, please, let me answer questions so that you can leave me alone and let me get back to being a mom. And because she had her kids inside and didn't want her kids to be distressed by the fact that, again, Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito, and really the manhunt for Brian Laundrie was the biggest thing in the world at the time. So Carlee Laundrie spoke and gave responses and answered questions and was a visible part of this story. And now she's going to be under oath answering questions in the deposition coming up on, again, closed-door deposition in less than a month from now on November 6th. What is she going to say? It's a major question. How open is she going to be? With depositions, and I've talked to some attorneys about this, with depositions, it can be a lot of, if you get a really difficult question asked your way, look, there are times in a deposition, I'm just speaking in generalities here with depositions, where a response could be, I don't know, or I don't remember, or, it happened so long ago, I don't remember, things, those types of responses. How much will Carlee divulge? How cooperative will she be? How will her answers compare to her parents? If Pat Riley, the attorney for Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, ask the Laundries a question about the Fort DeSoto camping trip and get a certain answer, and then Carlee comes in and they ask the same question to Carlee and it's a different answer, well, then someone is lying under oath. Someone is not being truthful. And so these are some of the strategies that you can imagine. And this is, I didn't study law, but this is how it works. This is basically law school 101. You're trying to get to the truth, and you're trying to ask, the same questions of different people to try to get closer to who is a credible source of information, who's a credible witness, and who is not. And trying to also perhaps even diminish credibility or character as you build your case in front of a jury. So Carlee is on November 6th. Christy, just some of the other ones. Rick Stafford is coming up next week. That's the attorney who represented Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt in New York. And then Joe and Nicole are going to depose Bertolino on the 17th, Tuesday. That one will be interesting. Because we've heard from Bertolino a lot since this all happened. And he hasn't been shy about offering his responses. He's given me some responses this week. There's Bertolino right there in his interview with Ashley Banfield on News Nation a couple years back. Bertolino texted me the same comment on both days, Tuesday and Wednesday. I have nothing to share other than that there were no surprises on our side. He basically said there were no surprises on our side. Well, when I reported that got the attention of Pat Riley, the attorney for Joe and Nicole, the Petito side, the plaintiff side. And he texted me later on that night and he took it upon himself to offer a statement in response to Bertolino saying, no surprises here. It went exactly how we anticipated it would go. And this was Pat Riley's response. Bertolino's statement that there were no surprises on their side, of course not. They have been hiding the truth and refusing to give Joe and Nicole the answers they so desperately needed for 2 years. Bertolino makes it sound like it is just another day in his and Laundrie's life. But it was an emotional, gut-wrenching, and eye-opening day for Joe and Nicole. They learned exactly what the Laundries and Bertolino knew while they were searching for any information on Gabby, but failed to disclose. The level of insensitivity of Mr. Bertolino is never ending. End quote. One more time here. He's saying that his clients, Joe and Nicole, Gabby's family, quote unquote, learned exactly what the Laundries and Bertolino knew. So there's still big things in this story that have, stones to be turned over, if you will, and it's on the horizon, and it's whenever we get the transcripts. Thank you, Christy, for your comment. Go to some others. Hashtag HeyJB, do you think it would have made a difference if the Laundries had acknowledged their grief and apologized for their actions? Wow. Well, look, my opinion here, I know this is not really a this live stream and the work that I do isn't about my opinion. It's about your opinion. It's about spotlighting your opinion. I just provide context to some of the major questions that surround a particular story. I try to, explain what we are learning, what we're not learning, the process, the legalities. I'm not here to really, do I think it would have made a difference? It's not really about my opinion. It's more, and Karen, I hope you understand what I mean by that, because I would like to take this question and ask it. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do a quick emoji poll. Starting now, if it would have, do you think it would have meant something to Joe and Nicole if the Laundries during depositions had apologized? If Chris and Roberta said, "I'm so sorry for everything that happened," and apologized for their actions, or Karen, to be honest, or their lack of action, you could argue, their lack of responses. Do you think, give a thumbs up if you think it would have made a difference to Joe and Nicole? Give me a thumbs down if you think it wouldn't have made a difference. And we give everybody a moment here to come in. Again, thumbs up emoji if you think, you know what? We can also do it in a poll. We'll do an emoji poll and we'll do an actual YouTube live poll. Do you think it would have made a difference to Gabby's parents if the Laundries apologized? Ooh, I'm going to run out of characters. Oh, I had 100 characters and I got right at 100 with the question mark. With the question mark. The question mark was the 100th character. That's just a little bit of Friday luck, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of Friday luck. Because YouTube only allows 100 characters in their poll. And we'll see what people have to say. Would it have made a difference? I can assure you, if the Laundries... See, I don't... Yeah. It's not about my opinion. Not about my opinion. I'll give you this. it's not about my opinion, but I will give you this. It would have been shocking to Joe and Nicole, having communicated with them over the last couple of years. Joe and Nicole would have been shocked if they sat down at the conference table and the Laundries perhaps opened with an apology or even teared up at one moment and said, "I'm so sorry for everything that happened." The shock would have been palpable. And based on what I have heard in the room, there was no apology. There were emotions during Chris's deposition, but Roberta's, it was emotionless, in the words of the Petito side. All right. Let's wait till we get to about 300 or so votes. Got 270. Here come the emojis. The emoji polls, you can get an eye for it. You can see a lot of thumbs up or thumbs down, but this one being as close to 50-50 as it is, again, if you're joining us on YouTube Live, you can see the poll at the bottom of your screen. And no, we don't track your votes or anything like that. Take it from me. It's just an informal YouTube poll. We're not, it's a yes or no question that is based on the question from Karen here. And we'll get to 300 votes here in a minute, but it is a 45% to 55% split. 45% to 55%. So 45% of you, roughly, think that it would have made a difference. But a majority of you, it's close, but a majority of you believe that it wouldn't have made a difference to Joe and Nicole if the Laundries had apologized during depositions. Very interesting. All right? That's why it's about your opinion, folks, and not mine. Really split almost down the middle there. We'll let that poll kind of continue as we look for a couple more #HAB questions, and then we want to move on to Carlee. Wow, that's a story we got to revisit at some point. But Carlee Russell. Michelle thinks that the no eye contact was due to feeling guilty. Andrew, will the civil trial be televised? Televised is a pretty old school word. The word I would use is live streamed, and the answer is yes. Will it be on TV and broadcast, televised, old school, like over the air and on cable TV? No, not live at least. I'm sure you'll see it on various newscasts across the country, but live streamed, kind of like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard or other, trials. Alex Murdaugh as an example. No, we live in a world now where civil trials, criminal trials, they are live streamed in their entirety rather than televised really in their entirety. You could always cast it to your TV and then it's like it's being televised. But this is the last call for questions and comments, as Makeup by Rocky here is saying. If you'd like to have your comment featured on screen, use #HJB, and yes, please stay respectful. Rita says, I think it would help a little. It's been some time that has passed. No need to be heartless. They both went through tragedy. Rita brings up a really good point. I know that there are very strong-worded opinions about the Laundries. And doing what I do with interactive work, believe me, I see your comments. Some that are mild, some that, are really, really strong-worded. And no matter how you feel about the Laundries, there is one inescapable fact. They lost a child. They had a child commit suicide. That is it's hard to put into words what that is like. And again, I've talked about it on streams in the past, having experienced some hardships in my life, and understanding just a little bit about nightmares. And nightmares not being something that you experience when you sleep, but when you're awake. You can't deny the fact that what Chris and Roberta experienced is just like Joe and Nicole, what they experienced. I'm not comparing the two. What I'm trying to say is that so often people forget that the Laundries went through an extremely traumatic experience. People want to point to how they responded or really didn't respond to the Petito and Schmidt families, but it also part of the equation. You can't ignore the fact that they went through something extremely traumatic. The question is, how much did that traumatic experience influence their decisions? And were their decisions, in this case, look, if you're looking at it just on paper, are their actions or perceived lack of action, does that constitute intentional infliction of emotional distress? And how much at trial will their own experience of losing a child in Brian, how much will that be demonstrated in front of a jury as to their mindset and their decision-making process when they were not picking up the phone or responding to messages from Gabby's parents? Again, not here to compare the experiences, because we have parents on both sides here who lost a child, and it was, of course, different circumstances on both sides. You had what happened to Gabby versus what happened to Brian. They are very different circumstances, but you're more equipped to understand the complexities of this story if you remember the fact that, yes, Chris and Roberta Laundrie right there, they also did lose a child, which is, for anyone, a traumatic experience. Charlie, has there been a financial settlement made by the Laundrie? So have they offered a financial settlement, not based on court documents? You would think that there would be some attempt to settle, and whether that made it into a court document or not, that it's so common for civil cases for there to be discussions about what it would take to settle out of court, because civil cases are expensive. So to try to settle out of court, you save money on both sides. You save time. You save having to relive it all. Civil cases so often just never make it to trial because they're settled out of court. I don't have any statistics to support that, but of course, we hear about it all the time. Cases that never make it to a civil trial simply because they settle out of court. But in some cases, the truth getting out is so important, or there are two sides that are just so incapable of reaching a compromise that it just never gets to that point, and it does in fact make it to trial. So Bertolino has, per court documents, made an attempt to settle. The Laundries, we do not know. Sean is saying here, in responding to the poll question, an apology would not have made a difference. The Laundrie's actions against the Petitos and Schmidts are unforgivable. I wouldn't have stayed silent. I would have helped them find their daughter. I think a lot of people, Sean, based on social media activity in the last 2 years, feel the same. People who would have, even given the fact that they were trying to protect their child, would have helped in some way, shape, or form the Petito and Schmidt family. So, right, what questions were asked? Joanne wants to know, did anyone ask if either of the Laundries flew to meet Brian to drive him home? Questions like these that now it's based on our understanding of the story. Brian drove home by himself in that van right there that you see on your screen from the Moab video. But, what questions were asked? What did Riley have on his list to make sure was asked? Was this question, Joanne, asked to the Laundries? We don't know. We don't know, and it will be some time before we do know. But those transcripts, believe me, if those transcripts drop, if we're going to try to obtain them. I'm sure other news outlets will try to obtain them. Regardless, if those transcripts go from being from private to public record, we'll launch a live stream and we will break down all the responses, as we do with many other cases. When we examine documents and go through it item by item. All right, one or two more, and then we got to move on to Carlee Russell. Crime and #HeyJB, an apology now would be meaningless. I am sure if the Laundries responded to desperate texts, etc., asking where Gabby was, it would have been different. I think a lot of people do feel like the apology just wouldn't have meant much. Josie, it is a civil trial. And it is the basis for the trial is intentional infliction of emotional distress. Right. I see you. Will they become public after an evidentiary hearing? Maybe. We got to check with circuit court policy to understand the flow of those transcripts and how they're going to go from private to public. All right, folks, we're going to transition now to the Carlee Russell case, because that was another case that we covered extensively here on WFLA Now, one that sparked a lot of desperation, also causing a lot of frustration in what happened with that story. And so don't go in there, because after we're gonna spend a little bit of time on Carlee Russell, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more about some topics related to the news industry. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in my own life, and explain why that's relevant. But let's quickly review the Carlee Russell case and how that reached its conclusion, or the conclusion we think is going to be the conclusion, how it ended here in Central Alabama, here on WFLA Now.
Live from the Stream Center in Tampa, Florida. Top stories, breaking news, interactive coverage in the palm of your hand. This is WFLA Now, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY. Here's JB Biunno.
Carlee Russell found guilty of faking her own kidnapping over the summer, when we thought she was missing, when in reality, it was all staged, all a hoax. We have found out what the sentence is in Alabama. We're going to get your reaction here on WFLA Now. Welcome back, folks. JB here with you in the Stream Center, and let's talk about Carlee Russell, perhaps for what we anticipated is last time. And let's start actually by just looking here at this video. You can also, of course, read the latest by clicking on the link in the description on this video. It'll take you over to WFLA.com. But I want to talk about Hoover, Alabama this week, where we see there's Carlee Russell's attorney, and want to show you the video of Carlee, really for the first time, this is the first video that we've really had of Carlee Russell. So there she is walking into court where she is going to be learning her sentence for the charge of really faking her own kidnapping. There she is with family, friends, attorney, representation, as well as anyone else, just her support staff. Be there with the glasses in the center of your screen. And so she would walk in and she would be found guilty on multiple misdemeanor charges, and she would pay or ordered to pay $18,000 in restitution. Now, there's no doubt that the amount of money that went into the search for Carlee Russell eclipses $18,000. That is a fact. There's just no way, because over a couple of days in really, I'll give you the dates here. She was, of course, you might remember this story. She was accused of filing a false police report, falsely reporting an incident where she reported seeing a child on the side of the road, pulled over her car on the side of the interstate at night while she was on the phone, and said that she was going to go help this child on the side of the road. And then she vanished. We still don't know where she went. That's the big question, where she went. And we would find out later, after she was found, she turned up walking back to her home a couple of days later, her home in Hoover. And after police investigated for several more days, she admitted to making the whole thing up, that there was no child on the side of the road, that it was a hoax. Just shock, because you wanted to believe the story that somebody was doing the right thing, pulling their car over on the side of the road because they saw a child on the side of the road, and doing the right thing, and then perhaps, oh my God, she was kidnapped, or was it a trap? Was somebody trying to bait her and lure her in? And there were a million questions. We were on live stream about it for days. We were getting the word out, and then there was such a response from the Black community, who had for years seen we've talked about it on live streams before, with missing white girl syndrome, and seeing young white females get a lot of media attention. Going back to even to, of course, talking about Gabby Petito here, about the amount of publicity that a young white woman would get when they go missing. And the Black community, many people online, on TikTok, on social media, asking the question, why don't missing Black women or missing Black individuals get the same treatment? And so when this story was blowing up online, there were those. I mean, you never want to say that people were celebrating the news that Carlee Russell was missing, but there was a sense of relief that was settling in with a lot of folks who said, "Oh my goodness, here are reporters and members of the media who are really elevating this story. We were doing it, and others were doing it in Alabama and beyond, elevating the story and trying to help find a young missing Black female." And then the frustration that boiled over when Carlee Russell admitted to making it all up, and the press conference that we carried here on WFLA Now, when they announced to the world that it was a hoax, and there was this disbelief that settled in, because there were advocates, people who had who had pleaded for years for there to be more attention paid to Black people who go missing. And then for all of a sudden, for this to be a hoax, for us to be deceived, there were a lot of posts online, a lot on Twitter/X, of people saying, my goodness, what a step backwards. Look, we always try to do our part. In fact, I will show you how much this is a core part of our mission with live streaming when it comes to missing persons cases, where we try our very best to activate what we call share to help coverage. There, you see it there on the bottom of your screen. Missing person cases are so important to me personally, professionally, just trying to use social media as a means to, especially in those first 48 hours, trying to get the word out about a missing person and trying to do it regardless of background, regardless of race, regardless of origin, as far as whether it's a Florida story, a story in other places. We were talking about Charlotte Senna earlier this month in upstate New York, just trying to do as much awareness when it comes to missing people in this country as much as we can and getting the word out in the aftermath of somebody going missing. I tweeted out last night a missing person case right here in Florida that desperately needed attention. And so missing persons cases are a really big part, at least I can speak for myself, what I try to do here on live streaming. And we were really trying to get the word out about Carlee Russell, only for a few days later to find out that this was a hoax. Someone who made it all up. We still don't know why she made it up. We still don't know where she went. There were a lot of looming questions. There still are looming questions that are unanswered. But we haven't covered this story as much in recent weeks because there are more important things to worry about and other cases that deserve more attention. So, Carlee Russell. We're going to end this current YouTube poll, and we're going to ask in a new YouTube poll. Do you agree with the sentence that Carlee Russell was given for the fake abduction? Let's activate that poll. And then you can use hashtag AJB, and we'll try to get some responses up on screen and try to talk to everybody here about it. Again, so let's review. The misdemeanor charges resulted in guilty, of course, and Carlee Russell is going to pay in restitution approximately $18,000. Somewhere north of $18,000. Oh, by the way, Carlee Russell is going to appeal because she pleaded not guilty. Was found guilty. And she's going to appeal in circuit court for what it's worth. So $18,000 in restitution, I think she will be forced to pay that pending the decision in appellate court. But is that a fair sentence? Do you agree with that sentence? Yes, no. Let me know here in the comment section. Really, Catherine with a great question. Do you think anyone will ever be charged as an accessory in the Carlee Russell case? We don't know where she went. She was gone for a couple days. We don't know where she went. She vanished on the side of the interstate, and we don't know if she was picked up by somebody, if she went to someone's house, if she hid out in the woods by herself. We don't know where she went. But if someone aided her, knowing that this was all a hoax, knowing that obviously the world was looking for her in central Alabama and beyond, if there's evidence to charge somebody, you would imagine, given the publicity that this story received, you would imagine that it would be high profile enough for the district attorney's office there in Hoover, Alabama, to proceed with charges against someone else, because it would prove that that this was not an act that was carried out by Carlee Russell alone. Now, we, as far as the public, we have zero information, not a shred of evidence that points to Carlee getting any help from anyone. But if it ever did come out and there was evidence to support it, and the case was reopened, yeah, the district attorney could charge somebody for aiding her. Kelly says, hashtag AJB, she should be made to pay the full amount and absolutely serve the year-long prison sentence. Yeah, there is no jail time here. No, she did not. So, Melanie, I see your comment. She did not get jail time. There is no jail time. She's not going to jail. $18,000 plus. I think, man, this is wild because I think the YouTube poll results are almost exactly identical to the previous one, YouTube poll that we had on Gabby Petito. Catherine, you're welcome. Some of our commenters pointing out that that she hopes that they hope that Carlee gets mental help. We do not know if she experienced a mental health episode. We don't know if she had. It had been stated in coverage that that she did not suffer from any mental illness that any of her family or friends knew about. Let's go over the results of the poll. All right, poll results are 41% agree and 59% disagree with the sentence. 18,000. Oh wait, do I have this in? Is our local report from our local affiliate inaccurate? All right. So I have conflicting reports out of Central Alabama that she got jail time or not. I have a report from one station saying that she didn't get jail time, and then I have a report from another station that she did. One that she did, one that she didn't. I don't understand. Did one Alabama station get it wrong? Oh, judge recommended a year. Will she get a year? She's going to appeal. So this is all pending the appeal. But, and based on what happens with the appeal, of course, we'll find out more. But yeah, conflicting reports. There's confusing reports out of Alabama as to whether or not she got jail time. So apologies for that, because we have, as part of our parent company, we have our media partners in states really across the country, almost every state. And we have our media partners in Alabama. And our media partners reported that it was just the 18,000. And then I'm seeing conflicting reports from other stations, other media outlets in Central Alabama saying that there was jail time or the recommendation of jail time. So that makes the poll almost completely meaningless, because we were going based off of the idea that she was just getting $18,000 and basically a fine. Apologies for that, folks. Yeah, so Beautiful's point. It's very confusing. The reports are all over the place. They are. I'm beginning to wonder if our media partner might have had it wrong. Then maybe there was jail time on the table. I'll get to the bottom of that and we'll figure it out, folks. That brings us, that's a perfect segue to our next live streaming topic. And that's the news industry. And I want to explain why we're talking about the news industry here today. Look, give everybody some inside baseball here. Take a look at Tampa. Let's take a look outside. Show everybody what's going on here as far as on our tower camera. Look at that. Beautiful day here. This is Tampa, Florida live. So, yeah, I see the reports, CNN saying that you got 1 year of jail time, and they're attributing to local reports, and the local reports are mixed, or at least the local reports that came into our station are mixed. So, off camera, I'm going to just kind of make sure, tidy all that up and get to the bottom of why there are conflicting reports as to whether or not Carlee Russell is going to be spending time in jail. But this is exactly what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today. At our station here at WFLA, there's been some conversations about our priorities to grow, to get better, to do more, and to do right by you. And those conversations are never talked about. But news stations across the country, news outlets, they have conversations all the time about how they can be better. But how can we talk about being better and doing better at this crazy thing that we do in the 24-hour news cycle without talking with you about it? So I wanted to talk with you guys about it today, about what you think of the news industry. The news industry has changed dramatically over the last 5 to 10 years, and wanted to hear from you as to just almost a state of the industry kind of chat. What do we do right? What do we do wrong? Do you have questions about why the news is the way that it is? Why we do things a certain way? Why coverage here is this way, why coverage there is another way, and also too, perhaps having these conversations with you gives us the opportunity then to talk about how we can do better by you. So often, our news stations trying to improve their product and try to get better, and believe me, news stations across the country know about how the news is perceived, especially when you get up to a higher level with a larger audience. And yes, I'm talking about, network level, and how different network news is from local news, how different television is from live streaming. We're very cognizant of how the media is perceived, how the news industry is perceived, the trust. Everything revolves around trust in news and getting your news from a reliable source, a credible source, something you believe in, a reporter or an institution, an organization that you believe in, where you believe that what you're getting from that place is accurate, credible news. So how do we build more trust? What do we do that does right by you, and also at the same time, what are things that you want to see less of? Can we talk about it? Is that okay today? Can we actually, we never just stop and talk about the news? We always talk about stories and headlines and articles and developments and updates and breaking this and breaking that. We never actually stop and just take a breath and say, hey, why does a news station do it this way? Or why do they do it that way? Or why do I see this on this network or this on this local television station? Why does radio do this and television do that and live streaming do this? Clickbait here, clickbait there. Those questions, let's talk about it. Any questions that are on your mind, any feedback that you want to give, anything that you want to talk about as far as the industry, I think it's really important that these conversations are We have these conversations sometimes. And so starting now, if you use hashtag KJB, we are going to have, yes, just a talk about the news and the industry that I work in. And this isn't this. Please let me. The first two comments that I have coming in are very complimentary, like really nice things being said about me. But that's not the goal of this exercise. So I do appreciate Melanie, Michelle, and even Team Brittany in our comment section. One of our moderators who are sharing feedback about the job that I do, and I really do appreciate the kind words. Believe me. It means so much, and but I'd like to talk about just how we get better. This isn't the shower JB with compliments kind of ploy, if you will. This is me actually really asking about what you'd like to see more of and less of on the news. So let's start here with Julie, and again, Michelle, Melanie, others, Team Brittany, others. I see your kind comments. I appreciate that, but let's talk a little bit more. What I really want to talk about also is where you're getting your news from. That's really what I want to hone in on today, because so many people now don't trust the news that they get from certain sources. They go and they're getting their news on TikTok, Instagram. That's where they get their news from. A TikToker will, screenshot a report and put it up on screen, then talk about it. That's, for a lot of people, especially the younger generation, that's 20-year-olds, that's where they're getting their news, is TikTok. Let's unpack this a little bit. Julie says, hashtag KJB, I'd love to see less speculation and editorializing, more facts. Let's encourage, I'm just going to write down some notes. I'm just going to start taking some notes. Less speculation and editorializing, more facts. Let's encourage critical thinking, truth, and reason. Not drama, fear, and speculation, even if that's what gets attention. I think a lot of people are really going to applaud Julie for putting this together in such a concise comment. Less speculation, less editorializing, and more facts. Let me talk about a little bit what we do, because will flirt in the speculation space, but only in this regard. We try, because we're on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we do our live streaming in these arenas, and those arenas are so often riddled with misinformation and speculation, conspiracy theories. Sometimes we will just go into that gray area a little bit just to set the record straight, just to present fact in contrast to speculation, to help set the record straight and make sure that the narrative is on track. So hopefully people understand that as far as live streaming. I think Team Brittany, one of our moderators, hits on something that a lot of people feel is true. I think reporting facts is how it can get better instead of the political slants. Yeah, politics is a whole nother ballgame. Kim says, what does reporting with intention and thoughtfulness mean to you? It's everything to me. I don't know any other way to respond to this question other than saying that I do report with intention, and I try to always be thoughtful and think about every side of the equation. And there's always at least two sides to every story, sometimes 3 or 4. So thoughtfulness is understanding that it doesn't just exclusively come down to what you think or what one side of the story thinks. That's why we were talking about the Laundries earlier and what they experience with losing a child. You have to think about it from multiple angles, multiple perspectives, multiple sides of the equation with every story that you cover. It can be challenging. It can be hard, but I try to report with intention, and I try to be as thoughtful as I can. Gloria, more boots on the ground. Talking and filming live issues reduces personal opinion broadcasting. My news comes from live streamers on the ground and only reliable agencies such as WFLA. Yeah, people want to be there. I'm going to make a Hamilton reference. In the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. right? You want to be in the room where it happened. And live streaming gives you the ability to do that. That's why people with the Idaho case really want to be in the room when Kohberger's fate is decided. They want to hear the facts. They want to be in the room where it happened. And that's what Gloria is getting at here. Instead of it being just this glorified, just back and forth, like let's get on the ground and actually talk about these issues where they're occurring. So, Gloria, thank you for your comments. Your comment, I really appreciate it. Melanie says, I avoid any news that might be reported on TikTok or Instagram. Us information consumers, quote unquote, have to discern facts from fiction on our own sometimes. Very true. And there are incredible content creators on TikTok, and then there are those who mean well, who mess up, and then the narrative gets skewed. And then there are those, the worst kind, are those who are intentionally trying to skew the narrative and trying to drive home a conspiracy theory or a false narrative that just is dangerously detrimental to the goal of spreading reliable, credible information. Team Brittany says, I won't mention the creator, but a YouTube creator commended you for being literally the only one who chose not to show Charlotte's photo after she was found, since she was then a victim. Yeah, and Team Brittany, then people were very quick to point out, I called her a victim, but really, perhaps the best and most appropriate label would be survivor. And I felt, again, being thoughtful, right? And to Kim's comment earlier, having intent and thoughtfulness when you do this job. But yeah, no, look, that was really important to us. And there were people that were very frustrated that I was late on the live stream that day by approximately, I think it was 4.5 minutes of people just waiting for us to go live and getting very frustrated that we were just kind of sitting in purgatory there and standby for stream purgatory. But it was really important that we had that managerial decision come down, and really it was brought to my attention because we were just trying to get up on stream really quickly for you guys, because there were people waiting to talk about that update with Charlotte Senna being found alive, the girl in upstate New York who went missing when she was on a bike ride. And really it was brought to my attention by our great, incredible WFLA staff. I'm here in the stream center, but we have our entire team working out there. And they were the ones that said, hey, just, they basically said, JB, remember now. I'm not going to sit here and take credit. We had a conversation because we have some great working people here at WFLA that said, this changes the story. She's no longer missing. Let's have a conversation about her picture. And so we had that conversation, and the right decision, I think, was ultimately made. So thank you, Team Brittany, for passing that along. Interesting. Carol says, can we bring up Carol's comment? Hold on. No, kind of went away. Carol. Come on, Carol. There we go. Hashtag HJB, more truth, less, you know what. Tell it like it is. There are rules, guys, with what I can say and not say, so I can't say those two letters because it means something that I shouldn't be saying. Tell it like it is, myself. I get the news from Twitch and YouTube. Twitch? You get the news from Twitch. Carol and anyone else on Twitch, who is a reliable source of info on Twitch? I would really love to know. I don't mean that in any other way. I'm actually very curious. Because this is the first time I've ever seen this comment where where Carol saying that she gets her news from Twitch. Did you mean Twitter, Carol, or did you really mean Twitch? Because Twitch is mostly identified as a live streaming space for gamers and the just chat category, not really news. So, is there throughout just we got a lot more comments to get to, but please, people, if there's someone you think I should be paying attention to on Twitch that is a reliable news source, let me know, because that's interesting to me. That's fascinating. That's not usually a comment I'm used to seeing about where people get their news. Karen says, I think the news industry as a whole has deviated from integrity. A lot of sources are more interested in being the first to break news prior to having all the facts. This is true. This is true. There is such, oh man, it's conversations that we have all the time about. And look, you want to be right. You always want to be accurate. You always strive to be accurate all the time. But in this industry, being first is also part of the business side of our industry. There's no doubt. Because if you finish in 34th place on breaking on publishing a news story, you are irrelevant. And when you are irrelevant, you're not sustainable. And when you're not sustainable, you can't be the one being right, because you're no longer, part of the flow of information for people. So being accurate is nothing is more important than being accurate. Your accuracy is it basically dictates how reliable and how credible you are. But news stations will tell you that being first is a very big part of the business side of the news industry. So news stations will always say, the mantra will always be accurate and try to be first and strive to be first. And then sometimes it gets the quest to be first becomes too important and overtakes the quest to be accurate. And that is where things get where things unravel for a lot of for certain media entities and for certain individuals who are reporting information online. Makeup by Rocky, this isn't about you, but audiences. I wish people understood we only knew what we are given and shouldn't rely on one news source for facts. This is very true. Multiple reports, multiple sources. The moment you start relying something on look, it happened on this live stream. I had one media partner of ours saying that Carlee Russell's sentence was $18,000 in restitution. And I didn't have the secondary reports. That's on me. I'm capable of mistakes. So it's a very poignant comment here. Sandra says it's not just the young folks. My 50-plus-year-old spouse gets his news on TikTok, but I stream you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, TikTok has become pretty big for news. More live streams, says Jenny. April says, what do you do if you're wrong? I know it happens with no one at fault, but how do you deal? Well, every reporter is capable of messing up, and every reporter has. If a reporter says I have a 100% track record on reporting accurate information, I don't buy it. You make mistakes in this industry. It usually happens more when you're younger and you're learning. I made almost every mistake that there is to make. I'm not saying that I made mistakes all the time, but over the course of my career, I have made a lot of different mistakes. And that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes that you make. And I'll just say, what do you do if you're wrong? To answer April's question, you own up to it. don't run from it. You look in the camera, you say, I made a mistake. Wish I had that one back. I wish I had done right by you, and and you say, my goal will be to be better next time. And I will do my very hardest to not let you down in the future. And if you do that and you put your faith in people to forgive you and give you another chance in the future, just about every time you'll earn that. You'll earn their respect and you'll earn their trust, or you'll have the opportunity to regain their trust in the future. But the moment that you try to take that mistake and quite literally sweep it under the rug, you're going to get called out for it, and you're going to be referred to as somebody who is perhaps a narcissist who refuses to own up to a fact about human nature, and that we all are capable of making mistakes. Even reporters, anyone with a microphone in their face can make a mistake. Anyone who sent a tweet is capable of making a mistake. So you just try to do your best to own up to it. Let's, did we end that poll earlier? Good, we did. Okay. J-Lo 5, I'd like to see some happy stories that give hope to people. The world is so dark, and the news always reports the dark. Let's add up some positive segments to, I think that's lift people up. Absolutely. Let's talk about for a second why the news is so often negative. And because a lot of places will attempt to go the high road, J-Lo, and we'll try to share more happy news, and then they are met with responses such as, okay, why am I hearing about this happy story when we have X, Y, and Z problems that need your attention? Why are we talking so much about the happy stories, and why aren't we divulging more time into discussing some of the real problems that we have in this country or have in this world? And it's a very delicate tightrope to walk, because yes, you try to provide hope, you try to do happy stories, you try to talk about stories of inspiration and heroism, but at the same time, you focus too much on the happy side of the news, and then people will go elsewhere for stories that are more related to discussing the problems that people experience in their lives every day. So, we'll end out this live stream with some happy news, perhaps. Actually, I'm pretty certain that we will. But yeah, look, a lot of the news can be negative, and a lot of the news can be dark, and a lot of the news can be, and that's usually because, and just the kind of the short answer is because that's what people respond to. People do respond to happy news and happy news stories, but and that means a lot to them. But it's difficult for news stations to spend time on the happy news stories when there's so many things happening in the world that require attention. Hopefully that makes sense. But look, WFLA reports on happy news all the time on our broadcast on WFLA News Channel 8, in the morning shows, the evening shows. We talk about the good stuff going on in the world quite a bit. It's just, I think also too, let's not discredit the power of social media algorithms and people who see all the negative news because that's what people are clicking on. And so people click on a negative news story more than a happy news story. Well, then the algorithm's going to say, oh, okay, this person wants to see more, of this type of news story. Oh, okay, they want to see more crime. Okay. Well, it's because you're interacting with that. I mean, look, algorithms now are so much a reflection of who you are as a person. How often do I go on social media and I see videos of cute cats? Why? Because I unapologetically love cute cats and dogs. but yes, I love cats. And so that your social media algorithm and your news feed, in many cases, in many regards, is a reflection of who you are as a person, and what you like, and what you engage with, and what you respond to, and as it tries to guess the content that you are going to want to see and engage with more in the future. So, I guarantee you, folks, if you engage with more positive stories of heroism and inspiration in your news feeds, you will see more of it on social media platforms too. Kim says less focus on clicks, ad revenue, site traffic, more focus on exactly what you said. Intentional and thoughtful reporting, sharing all angles, allowing us to critically think based on facts. Yep. We talk about this a lot in our station meetings here in Tampa. Beautiful says, I think what a lot of networks have difficulty doing is having people on their shows that represent different perspectives who can model how to civilly agree to disagree, realizing accountabilities. I want to make sure that I understand the correct meaning of that word. A word that doesn't exist. I think what you maybe meant to write there, beautiful, was commonalities. The number one thing coming up, because I'm looking at this, I'm like, wait, I know a lot of words. I don't recognize that word. Connibalities. I'm gonna say connibalities. Yeah, that is not a word according to various different search engines. The internet, where you can just make up a word, and this reporter here will think that it's a real word. I brought this up, Kelly, in a meeting the other day. I swear on everything I hold dear in the world. I had a person in a position of of tremendous influence in our company. And I was in a conversation with this person, and I asked why we cannot provide our reports to people outside of the U.S. It's a security issue, and I stated a very emphatic case. I have witnesses here at WFLA. I hear you when you say, why can't I read JB's reports? Why can't I read WFLA.com from my country? It's very frustrating to people, and I get it. And I have done everything I can, taking it all the way up the ladder to various people at our company, and I can't convince them that the juice is worth the squeeze, because it is a security issue. I will say this, and I can't really delve too much into this today, but explore what is called a VPN. Maybe fellow commenters, fellow nerds out there, maybe you want to help Kelly and some of the others out. But yeah. Austin says, any updates on Cassie Carlee? I want to look more into this story. Glitter Diva says, I get my news from you guys at WFLA, Philip DeFranco, Popcorn Planet, and the Pascal Show. I'm familiar with all four of those. I know WFLA, obviously. That's where I work. Philip DeFranco, of course, has been doing it forever. Popcorn Planet is Andy Signore right here. He does his channel and really rose to popularity and depth be heard a lot, and really gained a lot of subscribers doing live streaming here in Tampa Bay. And then the Pascal Show, was put on my radar earlier this year, and I'm familiar with the work that he does, and people turn to him for his content, which is of course great. It's always great to see people succeed and build a following and build a sense of community. So hat tip to all of these creators, because when you build a sense of trust with people and a sense of community with people, that's the good of the internet. There's the good, bad, and ugly of the internet, but that's one of the good sides of the internet is when you can build community together. And these creators here have done that. Sashley says, accuracy equals integrity. Couldn't agree more. Melanie says, I live in Indiana and only trust you. I have a question about a different case. I'll try to look for it there, Melanie, and provide some answers. Beth says that she follows Newsmax. And Newsmax is considered to be a source of news. I mean, look, it's the prism in which you see what is trustworthy sources of information. Beth is saying that Newsmax is trustworthy to her. That is her opinion. And some people are going to say CNN, MSNBC, point to different agencies and look, that's their trusted source. We're not here to get into a conversation today about who you should trust. And really, you shouldn't even listen to me. It's not about me. It's about you guys. I'm not ever going to sit here and say, oh, this is a trustworthy source. But I will say this in regards to sources of news. People don't talk about enough. People don't talk enough about the Associated Press. It is like the organization that fuels so many news websites, including some of the biggest ones in the world. They get their information from the AP. The AP is considered to be one of the most straightforward, fact-based, just deliver the news as it should be organizations on the planet, and they don't get enough credit. And they have their own website. You don't have to go and get your AP report from this station here or that radio station there or this newspaper there. You can get your AP from apnews.com. And I have no problem sharing that the Associated Press is a place that I go for news all the time because I know that I am going to be getting something as close to the center of really the narrative plane that is our industry. They don't get enough credit. The Associated Press doesn't get enough credit. Josie, we'll get to this. We'll get to this comment. Maybe because we're going till 5:30. So Sam Baker says AP and Reuters, loves Reuters. Debbie says thank you for the integrity. Kelly says my 3-year-old has been watching funny cat videos on YouTube all day. Cutest thing is her giggling her little butt off. And Claw Collective says thank you for everything that you do. Okay, yeah. So really quickly on my personal life, right? So yes, the big developing news story in my life is that I'm going to be a dad very soon. Very soon. My wife's due date is later this month. He is full term, which is what you say when the baby's ready to be here. Ready, but maybe not so ready because we're not at that point yet where anything's imminent. But I'm checking my phone all the time, making sure I'm not missing any really important calls where I would be rushing to the hospital. But yeah, as far as the news regarding my personal life, the reason why this is a topic of conversation today is because, and why we were having the conversation about sort of like almost an end of year conversation about the news industry and how we can grow and how we can learn from our experiences and how we at WFLA can get better for you and do more next year, is because you'll be seeing less of me because I'm becoming a dad. So yeah, I'm I'm beyond excited to be a dad. It's hard to put into words because I think right now we're just so focused on making sure that everything is ready. You know, do even things like a week ago I was sitting in a CPR class for infants, learning infancy CPR. You know, I mean, we're just doing all the things to get ready to be the best parents that we can be. That very rarely do I have a moment to just kind of sit back and be like, wow, my life is about to really change. Like, it hasn't sunk in yet. Maybe others out there can relate to where they were mentally. I'm still working. I still am doing all the things that a dad is supposed to do, or a dad to be is supposed to do, like building the nursery and getting various things around the house ready. We had work done on our house this year to get ready for the baby. I mean, it is a baby boy. Really excited. And yes, so let me please explain that when our baby boy does arrive, and believe me, I'll be beyond excited. I'll be out on paternity leave, and I will be gone for a set of time. And you might all of a sudden, there might be a news story or an update, and you might wonder, oh, hey, where's JP? He's used to, I'm used to seeing him cover this type of story, used to seeing him update this or that, and asking exactly, where is he? Well, this is full disclosure here. We are now in the territory where really our baby boy could be here any hour, not any day, any hour. I mean, we're getting to a point now where I don't know, is this going to be my last live stream for a while? We are in that zone now. Let me get to the most important part, and then I'll answer some of your questions. Maybe you guys can give me some advice about being a dad, or advice for my first few weeks as being a parent. Believe me, I have heard the advice a million times. Get in your sleep now, because you're in for a whirlwind without sleep for a few weeks or a few months, really. But the most important thing is my wife. We just celebrated our wedding anniversary yesterday, and very, very special to celebrate our anniversary, and do so as we are on the verge of growing our family. That's extremely exciting for us. And it's hard to talk about. I'm used to talking about other stories and other people, not used to talking about myself all that much. So forgive me. Devin is great. He's great. I think those who are moms out there in our comment section right now, I'm sure that you can relate. Just not very comfortable at the moment. Well, getting to the end of 9 months being pregnant is not you're in a zone where you're ready for the pregnancy part of the story to just be at its conclusion, and you're ready for the baby to get there, because there's a lot of aches, pains, discomfort, inconveniences, even getting into a car and out of a car, bending over to pick up that thing that you dropped, even though I keep reminding her that if you drop something, or if there's something on the ground, don't pick it up. If I'm around, I will get it for you. But you're trying to reverse multiple decades of muscle memory, because when you drop something, you're so used to just picking it up. But you're 9 months pregnant, and you shouldn't be doing that. And so we are at the point now where we are just, I think I speak for Devin in that, I speak for my wife in that, very, very much ready for our baby boy to be here and welcome in that chapter of our lives. And yes, when that chapter does begin, I will be off camera for quite a while. Weeks. So really appreciate all the support. I'm seeing it out of the corner of my eye. Really support. I mean, we were talking earlier about how live streaming and content creation and is so much about a sense of community. Well, I see there are so many names in our comment section that I'm so used to seeing, and that provides me with a sense of community. And even those who might be first timers here, you sharing words of support and even just the simple heart emoji means so much to me. So an enormous thank you. And yes, all right. So what do you want to share? Full reign to pass along a lesson, piece of advice. I will share, and I don't mean this in an insensitive way. I mean this in just a matter-of-fact kind of way. I move some comments here into position. I have received a lot of advice from a lot of people, family members, friends. And yes, the number one, when people say, all right, well, I ask, okay, give me something that you would encourage, or something to remember, or a piece of advice, a piece of parental advice. And I always, the number one thing I get is everyone just says, get in your sleep, sleep now. You're not going to be able to sleep. I get that over and over and over again. So, yes, like even this comment, I've heard this repeatedly. Team Brittany says, sleep when the baby sleeps. Yes, I will be sleeping when the baby sleeps. One thing that's really different about Devin and I, my wife and I, Devin is very much a morning person. Devin just pops out of bed and is like ready to go. It's amazing. I am not a morning person. I'm the worst morning person. Takes me, my wife jokes, it's like maybe 2 hours before I'm fully operational and ready to go. But I'm a night hawk. I do most of my critical thinking, most of my work, most of my, I get more done in the last few hours of a day than I do at any particular point of the day. So that we've been told by friends of ours and family members of ours that will work out well, because I'll be able to handle nights with the baby. She'll be able to be great in the mornings, and we'll be able to bounce off of each other and balance it out that way. Yeah, Baby Bryant says, sleep when he sleeps. That is the plan. That's what we intend to do. If he is passed out, we're going to pass out, or at least try to. Yes, Team Brittany, if bottle feeding, have them ready ahead of time. I'm ready to go. And my wife has given me a lot of help. Getting ready for when she needs to rest and I need to be able to do my job. Julie says, my mom's piece of advice is to bring your wife a burger and fries after delivery. She'll be hungry, and hospital food ain't gonna cut it. Good piece of advice. Team Brittany says, white noise in the nursery. Okay, yes, we have the sound machine, right? So we'll, of course, hopefully be able to find the perfect volume and the perfect set of sounds that work for a little baby boy. Ooh, this is interesting. Jody says, make an email address for your baby, which is not something you would normally think about. But he says, send emails and then give him the password when he turns 18. Then he can read all your messages. This is very new age and also very thoughtful. But the idea, I'm going to email my son for him to read later in life, that's like a time capsule sort of concept. That's pretty wild. Let's see here. Jenny says, get a little bracelet and keep it forever. That, like my daughter and me, I'm a morning person and she is up all night. LOL. 19. Team Brittany, the first time the baby sleeps through the night. Oh my God, the comments are coming in so fast all of a sudden. Boys do it quicker. Prepare the stand by the crib all night, wondering why he's sleeping. Oh, prepare to stand by the crib all night, wondering why he's sleeping. No joke. Is that what he meant? Makeup by Rocky says, same. I hate mornings. My boyfriend, within minutes of waking, wanted me to move the washer and dryer with him. That was a fight, because who does that? That is funny. I used to have like a laughter sound effect, like with the massive studio audience that I always have, right? Lisa says, I'm not a parent. I just want to say how blessed your son is to have you and your wife as his mom and dad. Thank you. That means so much. Take as much time as you need. We'll be here when you come back. Aw. Well, thank you, because there is this notion that when you go away for a while in our industry, in the news industry, that is detrimental to your career. And but I tell people that it doesn't work. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. And also, too, nothing's more important than my family. What else we got here? Catherine says, white noise was a lifesaver with my grandkids. All right. Good to know. Kelly says last few weeks are so uncomfortable that you're exhausted and you just want to sleep, but you're so uncomfortable it's impossible. Best bit of advice, learn how to swaddle the baby. They sleep so much better. Okay, that's good to know. And also, too, so a lot of these things that I have heard before, but your reinforcement, and when I hear it again, it's Val's a mom. I don't know if she wants to join me on live stream, but I told her that she was invited because she's a mom. You want to come for a little bit? Everyone, welcome Val Simpson in. Val, come. Oh, do I have the applause button? Yeah, I do. Oh, here it is. Applause. No, come to this chair. I can easily punch you up here on this one. Everybody, welcome Val. Say hi to Val. Val, you're a mom.
Hi, guys. How are you? Is my mic working? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent.
All right, what's the biggest? I'm gonna put your super in here. Your title.
Oh, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm gonna do it as you're just your mom.
That's right, Mom Val.
Mom Val.
Actually, that's the one thing I'm going to tell you. Once you have kids, you lose your individuality. You become so-and-so's mom or so-and-so's dad, especially when they go into school. So it's no longer like JB. It's going to be like, speaking of, do you guys have a name?
Yeah.
Can you share it?
No.
I thought, well, okay, I tried, but
you went right for the jugular.
I know,
on the comment
I did. I tried right for it.
The one thing that we're trying to keep secret, and you know what? You know what's really funny about that?
What?
No one got the message.
Why? What do you mean? Everybody's like asking
yeah, because
you?
We told like a couple of people very in our inner circle the name of our baby boy.
Yeah,
and we said, and the first thing we said was, "Don't look. We're not telling anybody. That's a secret.
Don't share it."
And then it's all over social media already.
Oh, that is so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go follow. Does your brother know? I'm gonna go stalk your brother's account. No, I'm just kidding.
My brother knows.
I know he's your best friend. I know he's your best friend.
My brother and I are close.
Are you guys naming family members? Renaming family members? Like,
are we naming our child after family members? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
I like that.
There's a
That's
middle
sweet.
name, first name. Well,
that's
maybe.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Well, we look forward to.
I have learned. Can I share one thing I've learned?
What?
My mother and my mother-in-law cannot keep a secret for anything. they
in
have
the
lost.
process. Oh, yeah.
We were talking earlier on this live stream about trust and finding reporters and news agencies you can trust. My mom and my mother-in-law,
it's not the mom.
The trust is at zero now, okay? They can't keep a secret.
Excited.
No,
they're excited. You have to understand and get ready, because when you are in front of a grandma, there's no way that you guys are going to be able to parent. Or at least that's my personal opinion. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I grew up with very strict parents, and watching them be grandparents to my children, it's kind of like I'm like, who are these people? I don't recognize you guys.
Really?
But yeah, and I might say something like, no, I don't think, like, he shouldn't eat that. Like, I want him to finish his dinner oh, come on, you only live once. Don't make him upset. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, that's just a small example, but things like that, that would never fly when they were parenting us.
These are the comments I wanted to get.
I'm coming up with the truth.
These are the comments.
Grandparents will not let you parent, so make sure you tell. Yeah, you guys need to be prepared for that. So yeah, your wife and unless you're very strict, I guess, and but grandparents are going to be like, it's different. It's a different experience.
We'll talk about that in a second. Jenny Black says you can't even go to the toilet in peace. My daughter is 19, and she is literally outside the door when I get out of the shower. No. Well, there's no there's no separation there, right?
When they're a newborn, you want to take them with you. That's what I used to do, because you don't want to leave them alone. So you kind of do. You take them in their little. My son had a swing at the time, and both my kids, and I would take them with me if I was going to shower, spend doing something in the bathroom. But then as they get older, you're like, oh my God, can I just have a moment, at least in the bathroom? So they're like knocking on your door.
With you and your husband, who's the disciplinarian? Yeah. Who's the one to lay down the law?
Well, what do you think? Guess.
Guess?
Guess. Knowing me, knowing my personality. You really, you don't know my husband, but you met him once. What do you think? Who do you think is the disciplinary at home.
I'm going to guess it's you.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I hate that role, but someone's got to do it.
Someone's gotta do
He's
it.
got all the fun stuff, all the fun dad stuff. That always happens in every family. There has to be a good cop and a bad cop, So, but yeah, that's how it is in my household. How is it going to be with you guys?
No, me.
You're going to be the disciplinary one?
Yeah. There's no doubt. We've already talked about it.
Yeah.
We have invented scenarios where our baby boy is maybe, this is years down the road where, he does something he shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right. How do we act?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do I do? How would we respond?
Yes.
And I'm usually the one with the more, okay, we gotta nip this in the bud. We gotta make sure that this doesn't happen in the future. We can't be, I think I'm gonna be the tougher parent.
You think? Just wait until they look up to you with those big eyes, those big Biunno eyes, baby Biunno eyes. You're not going to be able to resist. We'll see about that.
I love this because we already have a mountain of books, and I cannot wait to read to our baby boy. I cannot.
That is so
that I'm going to do.
That is the best part.
Reading?
Mm-hmm. Reading to your kids.
Do you have a favorite book?
Let me think. Oh my God, we got so many books. Well, obviously, I like all the ones that make reference to Mommy and Me, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like Mama Bear taking care of the baby bear. I can't remember the title of it, but yeah. I mean, and as he's getting older, now he's reading, but he's into different things. My older son, he's 7, so he's into comic books. So he's no longer into Mommy and Me. He wants to read comic books, but all the good, baby books are there. There's so many. They're so good, and they do have individual ones that are. There's one I think that it's called like On the Night That You Were Made. No, maybe that's not the right title. Not The Night That You Were.
What
made.
is it? What is it?
I think I just made that up.
You're making up books?
I think I just made that up. It's not On the Night That You. I think it's On the Night That You Were Born.
Somebody
help.
Can we help out Val? Folks, she's trying to get at a book title, and
guys, it's the sweetest book, and it talks about how I think it's the characters are bears, and it talks the mama bear is telling the baby bear, about how the sky was lit up with stars, but it's definitely not the night that you were made. I know it's not that. But listen. All kidding aside, don't be too hard on yourselves. Enjoy the process. I think that sometimes being a first-time parent, you have all these books that you're reading about how to parent and, the grandparents on looking, breathing behind your neck. So just, relax and enjoy the ride. It goes by really fast and the days could be really long. And I know that this is so cliche, but it's so true. But the years are short, and before you know it, you blink.
Yeah, that's the number one thing that I hear, and we're gonna go live on Instagram for a second, because I love this conversation. I think our Instagram audience would really love this. Mm-hmm. So let's go live on Instagram for a moment, and let's hopefully say hello. Hold on, it's connecting.
Hola, Instagram.
Yeah, hold on, wait. And there it is. Hello, Instagram. Yeah, I am accepting. The floodgates are open. I am taking parent advice.
Yes.
Yes. I am welcoming all the advice. Val is the only one in the room. She's the only one in the stream center with me. So, and she's a mom. So she's the perfect person to join me on live stream and talk to me about what I should be doing as a parent. Believe me, no, I get great. Devin is so ready to be a mom that that no one gives me more of a loving encouragement on how to be the best dad that I can be than my wife. My wife is just really unbelievably supportive. But getting all of these different perspectives coming in from different places, this is really awesome. Yeah. And Val's, of course, expertise. You have 2. I think we didn't talk about that. You have 2 at home, right?
I have 2 boys. Yes, I have a 7-year-old and I have a soon-to-be 11-month-old baby.
Aww.
So there's a gap there. But something that I wanted to touch on, which you just mentioned about Devin, that seeing your partner, seeing your spouse become a parent is an incredible experience. If you think you love Devin now, you just wait, because you're going to be so in love with her, watching her just, slip into that mother role. There's something so endearing about it.
Yeah.
That it's definitely it's a really nice process because some couples may get together, may get married, and they may already be parents. But there's something about if you don't have kids and both of you becoming parents together, there's something really special about that.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing my wife become a mom.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
And
That's cool
she
to
says
say
that she's excited to see me become a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the books.
Okay, yes.
Very
Did somebody figure
Hungry Caterpillar is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to read that. You don't know that one?
No, I don't think I know about that
the
one.
Big caterpillar.
What does it
Anybody?
say?
Can I get some thumbs up in the comment section if people know that book? Very Hungry Caterpillar, or any Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah, The Places You Will Go. That's my favorite.
Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh,
Man, all
my
the
God,
kids'
that's so
books.
good. Oh, yeah,
hit
that
me
one's good,
in
too.
all the feels, man. All the feels.
That's really good too. Yes.
So,
yes, love it.
Yeah, did anybody get what kind of crazy book Val was talking about?
It exists, I promise you. It's about bears, and I believe it's called The Night You Were Born. Can somebody Google it, please?
Okay, I'll Google it. The Night You Were Born?
Yes, because it's the mom basically. The book is about Mama Bear.
On the Night You Were Born.
There you go. That's what
By
it's
Nancy
called.
Tillman.
Oh, it's so sweet. It's so good. You have to read this to your baby. It's adorable. And it talks about, kind of like how everybody was waiting for him and the sky was lit up, and it's really cute. I don't know. There's something about it. I like it.
Yeah. So look, if anybody wants to send me, I cannot wait to read to our baby boy. So if anybody has any book advice, feel free to. Instagram is really my primary source for like personal news, not really necessarily news stories these days. I really use Instagram. So let me know on Instagram. You can comment on a post or something,
Your DMs are gonna be blowing up.
DMs or whatever. Just any particular ones that I should be paying attention to. All right. What else? Give me that.
We're gonna move on to the next question. I know you don't want to share the name, but what letter does the name start with of your new baby?
Oh, I can't do it. I can't.
No, not even the first letter.
No.
The first letter of their middle name, at least. Give us something. Nothing.
The middle name,
The
first letter
of the middle name. So
is J. Is J.
Oh, okay. J, like dad. Got it. Perfect. Let's see.
Maybe it's for dad. Maybe it isn't. You don't know.
Okay, maybe not. All right. Well, we're gonna have to take a guess there. So, just to be clear, so the baby's gonna have first name, middle name. Is the baby taking both last names? How are you guys gonna do that?
I don't want to say.
Okay, that's fine. I'm
without.
just trying.
I'm a good husband. I'm trying to. We will reveal the name.
We'll just have to wait.
On social media.
Oh, that's cool.
Let me ask you this. With your children,
yeah.
Did you know the name in advance?
Yeah.
Or did you decide?
No, I did. I knew.
You knew in advance.
Yes, I did.
You picked it out, because my name was supposed to be reverse. I don't like talking too much about my name on social media all that much, but it was supposed to be. I was supposed to be B.J. Biunno.
Okay.
My mom was 100% on it, and then I was born, and she flipped it last second.
Oh wow!
And she said, "You know what? Nope. We're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna flip it, and we're gonna go J and then B." But I was this close to being BJ Biunno.
Wow!
It doesn't.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. No. I'll share. You want to hear a funny story?
Well, yes. I love your story.
What my name would have been if I was a girl?
What Bianca?
Did I tell you that in the past?
No.
No. I definitely told you that in the past. No, I'm not joking.
Oh my God. No, I'm a witch. I have a sixth sense. I can pick up. No, we never talked about this. That's like the craziest thing. First of all, and why did your parents think you were going to be a girl?
How did you know my girl name before I was even born?
You could be making all this up. I don't even know. Wait, did your parents not know you were a boy? Was it a surprise?
No,
back in the day, they
knew I was a boy, but they had their names picked out.
Oh,
and
no, I didn't know that.
If it was a boy, it was J, initials JB, and if it was a girl,
yeah,
it was.
Oh wow!
No.
I swear.
Why?
No, you've never told me. Bianca's a very nice name.
But how?
Your parents chose well. That is so funny. No, I didn't know. I promise you, I didn't.
You've been talking to my mom.
No. I would love to talk to your mom, especially after you. First of all, to congratulate her for she's going to become a grandma, but also because you told me that she was a singer. You guys don't know this, but JB's mom used to be a singer.
Yes, facts.
I love that.
Facts. She still sings, and she will be singing to our little baby boy, and I'm going to be a wreck when it happens. Yeah, she sang for a long time, very long time. She was in a she was the female lead of a band for a while. Yeah. Really a band that was a one-hit wonder. A band by the name of Alive and Kickin'. And look at that. And so cool. I think that's so cool. Yeah. So not everybody's mom's is an artist, sings. Yes, is in a band. My mom sang. And I have a lot of memories of seeing my mom perform as a child, and that was really it's a big part of my youth. I am still I'm still
it's like blown away. I'm telling you, I have like
millions of names in the world. We had to have talked about this.
No, we didn't.
There's no way that you guessed Bianca.
I didn't even. Okay, I didn't even know.
So facts. My name would have been Bianca if I was born a girl. It was done. I was Bianca Biunno, and that just that's a lot of B action going on there. But
it is, but it's like very artistic. You know? Really, Bianca Biunno. Like, do you see it?
Oh,
you see it?
So you agree with my mom that I would have been a good Bianca? This is crazy, man. This is utterly insane. That's so funny. Bianca is and the people commenting, Bianca is a beautiful name.
It is.
It's just weird looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, man, if the coin had flipped the other way, I would have been Bianca Biunno. It's just a weird thing to look in the mirror and come to terms with. So that's why, nothing against the name.
I'm dying. No, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
All right. So
good job. All right.
You're a psychic.
I guess.
Breaking news. In fact, let's activate the breaking news banner here, on the bottom of the screen.
Val
breaking
is
news.
Psychic.
Val is a psychic.
Yes. Well, I tell you, I can see that you're going to be an amazing dad already. I could see that in my crystal ball. So wishing you the best of luck. Yes, you guys don't even need it. You're going to do amazing. So
give me one, before you go.
Yes.
Give me one piece of advice that you don't often hear.
Oh, well, I feel like we heard them all. We heard some really good ones. I like the one about the email that you were, somebody left you.
Mm-hmm. And for those just joining, it was set up an email account for your child, email them with whatever you want, whatever messages you want to communicate to them, and then give them the account name and password so that they can read all those emails when they turn 18, so that they understand what it was like for us raising them at that time. That's really a beautiful.
That is pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Lil Patty, yes, that was the name of this. That was the one hit. Yes, that was it.
Little Patty. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, people are looking at my mom's old band.
See, guys, that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
By the way, I know that you don't share a lot of your private life on social media, but I know I am, and I know probably folks tuning in also are going to want to see pictures of the baby. Mm-hmm. Have you guys talked about sharing pictures and videos?
We'll share pictures.
All right, awesome.
We'll share pictures. We'll share the name. But you're right. My wife and I try to have as much of a private life as possible. Mm-hmm. It's really important to us, and you can relate, I'm sure, with you and your husband and your two little beautiful baby boys. It's you do your best to balance the job that you do, which is very public, and the profession that you have, the profession that you have, which is very public, and then your personal life, which you strive to be private as private as possible.
Yeah.
And so there's so much that goes on in my personal life that I don't like to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I try to, especially in my capacity as a reporter, it's about highlighting stories and issues and topics and what people want to hear about rather than myself. But But yeah, we strive to be private, but there will be, yes, we'll show our little baby boy off on social media.
Excellent. We love
Yeah.
that. We
So
love to hear
so
that.
your piece of advice, a piece of advice that you don't hear often is what?
Oh my God, I don't know. I feel like like I said, I think, they're all good. Everything that people have been telling you. I can't think of one. Oh my God, I can't come up with something. But definitely like don't
Help me with diaper changing. Come on, give me something. Something with the diaper changing. Yeah.
Practice. You know what I mean?
Practice?
Practice. Just right now you should I practiced before because I've never done it in my life. I didn't even my sister didn't have kids, so it's not like I had nieces or nephews. I know aunts and uncles out there. You could be lucky because you get a chance to practice. But if you don't have kids around you, how are you going to know how to do it? So I would grab like stuffed animals and we would put on the newborn diapers just to see how it was, And I mean, yeah, we lost a lot of diapers in the making of the process. But at least it gave us an opportunity to be like, how do you do this? You have to clip it. You don't want to be caught in the moment that you need to do it and not really know what side is the front or the back. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. But that's not the best advice. That's just like, side stuff.
I'm ready to get competitive with it.
Oh, you should. You guys should have a time each other who does it quicker.
Okay, let me tell you something. We're gonna story time with JB. I talk about it on stream. I used to one of my first jobs. I had a lot of jobs when I was younger. One of my first jobs was delivering pizza. What you do, people don't know this, but what you do in most pizzerias when you're not delivering pizza, if it's slow, let's say that there's no pizza to deliver, you make pizza boxes.
Okay, yeah.
You actually, because the cardboard usually comes in flat, you have to build the box. Mm-hmm. So I got really competitive with it and would build pizza boxes by the dozens. I mean, stacks of them for our guys upstairs. They had so many pizza boxes, they didn't know what to do with them all. But I would build these pizza boxes and I would do it my time was incredible.
Oh,
I would always, I'm going to be, I don't know if there's a Guinness World Record for this. I'm going to change the fastest diaper known to man. I'm going, whatever the record is, Guinness, I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
Yes, and I know you're going to beat it. You're a go-getter.
I'm going to practice.
Anyway, but before I leave, I do have to get ready because I have to go do a show. But I just, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't have these like hard expectations, and just like go with the flow. That's the best advice that I can give you. There's the
flow of the poop or just the flow in general. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Listen, anything that's like throw up and yes, the flow of the poop, everything that you got. Can we say poop here?
Yeah, no, poop is on the it's fine. Given the subject matter.
Yeah, so just get comfortable with it because you'll be seeing a lot of it. All right, guys, it was a pleasure.
I am ready. Let me just quickly say with Val, yes, I noted earlier that she is a mom, which is why I invited her on here at the same time, but she is also our very talented weather anchor for Tampa Oy and WFLA News Channel 8. You see her both. She is bilingual. She does it in she does the weather in English and in Spanish, which is just awesome. Yeah. So, Val, we really applause button for you. We hit the applause button as we get you exiting out here on Slider Cam. And
bye, everybody.
Give her a follow, folks, on social media. Val, Twitter and the Insta. What's your handle? At WFLA Val. Bye, everybody. All right, Val Simpson, everybody. All right, this is we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes till the top of the hour before we're going to get going here. So, all right, hit me. #HeyJB in the comments. What do I need to know? Help me. Look, the first step is saying I'm willing to accept your help as far as being a parent and listen to so many other countless parents out there, people who have come before me in this space. So I always am asking questions to people who are great parents, and you have to be a great parent. We can learn things from people who have made a lot of mistakes when it comes to their kids as well, as wish that they had done something differently, and you ask them questions and you learn from them and you learn from their mistakes and their successes. Bottom line, feel free, pour it on here and let me know what you think. So Debbie says, for example, point him south. Roger this reference. I understand what this means as far as point him south. I've heard the stories about, yes, what happens when you don't point him south. So, I got that. Yeah, so right. What's that now? No, because Brittany here is saying, Team Brittany's here is saying, your face is the target during diaper changes. Remember that he will not miss. So that never, you had 2 boys. That's never happened to you, not once. All right. It happened to me when I was a kid with my younger brother. He got me once. Yeah, no, I didn't wait enough. I was a kid. Message heard loud and clear regarding the diaper changes. Yes. So D is saying little boys can be a fountain, keep the faucet covered during a diaper change. That's really funny. Really, no, but see this one, Jay Balu is saying enjoy each day. Seriously, they grow fast. Yeah, this is something that I am really trying to channel mentally, is to really love and appreciate each and every day for what it is in the journey. I think that's so important. The amount of people who I really love in this world who have come up to me and said, enjoy every moment. Like that's the first thing on their minds, like, because those early years are such a gift and you don't get them back and you need to enjoy every moment. Believe me, that is something that has really landed for me up here. And, I look forward to trying to do my best in taking the days slow and enjoying it, enjoying the, even just taking a step back every now and again and just enjoying and the moment for what it is. Yeah, you know, I don't know, you know, this is, I'm going to ask Val this one question really quickly. Do you have videos of your boys being born? Yeah, see, people are saying, hey, are you going to video the birth? We haven't decided. And even if we did video it, that's not something going out on social media. That's not something that, that's an extremely personal experience. But people ask me all the time, are you going to video the birth? And we really haven't really made up our minds just yet, but we are, it's something that's we've talked about. Jessica says, soak it all up. Instagram, saying hi on Instagram. Man, my mom is in the comments section being a spoiler. Yeah, my mom, see, we were talking about moms and mom-in-laws. Mom, the world doesn't need to know every detail. There's something called privacy. So my mom is so excited to be a grandmother, but Ma, you know, I just gave this whole big speech about how private of a person I am. You want to just kind of quit being my publicist in the comment section? Just, Ma, chill. Hey. Okay, here's something. Some potential news in the Petito case that just came in. Look at this. What's this? Yeah, sorry guys, pivoting from all the parental talk for a moment because these court documents just dropped like literally 5 seconds ago. What is this? Let's open these up. Where's that document? Okay, there it is on this screen. Oh, okay, here. Stephen Bertolino will be deposing Tara Petito on November 20th, 9 a.m. So Bertolino will be, through his representation, will be able to question Tara Petito, that is Joe Petito's wife. Again, with just the technicalities of the co-parenting situation, that would be Gabby's stepmother. I know that they don't, you know, they of course refer to them as a four-parent, you know, kind of co-parenting unit, but it's Joe's wife, and she will be deposed on Monday, November 20th at 9 a.m. And then So Bertolino is then going to be deposing Jim Schmidt. That's Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt's husband and stepfather to Gabby. Jim Schmidt will be deposed on Tuesday, November 22nd, or excuse me, Tuesday, November 21st at 9:30 a.m. Again, this is Bertolino now filing for his opportunity to depose the plaintiffs in this case and those associated with the plaintiffs. So the deposition calendar continues to grow and expand, and that just goes to show that these are very critical months that set the stage for the Petito versus Laundrie trial in May of next year. People who have been looking up Alive and Kicking. Just so everybody is aware, my mother's voice on that track is not, or excuse me, the female lead on that track, the studio version, is not my mom. My mom had joined the band after that track had been recorded. So yes, the song being Tighter, Tighter. That's really funny. People looking that up. Val's over here laughing, like people looking up my mom's. Yeah, because you dropped the fact that my mom, I'm talking about how private of a person I am, and now people are looking up the details of my mom's life. Thanks, Val. Always looking out. Really appreciate it. So yes, that is the song that they unbelievable band, and my mom joined the band after that song, which was really their main hit. My mom joined the band after that song became a big deal. So the lead, again, the female lead, I do not know. I do not remember her name, but it is another very talented female vocalist. But it's a great song. Tighter, Tighter by Alive and Kickin', as my mom's band. Or her former band. She was with them for a time. Ha! It's a great one. Val, can you relate to this? Don't take anything personal that your wife says during childbirth. Totally. Yeah, Val says totally. Yeah, no, I got thick skin. And, I train for this experience in a way because I deal with some of the things that I get thrown my way on social media. So I know when to just kind of turn the other cheek and not to take it personally. There's one thing maybe I'm good at is not being offended. It takes a lot to offend me. I try to be as understanding of a human being as possible. And if someone says something mean about me, I just try to say, you know what, maybe they had a bad day. or maybe I do stink in a certain capacity, and maybe I do need to improve. I see it as a call to action rather than being offended. So I will not take it personal, Jay Balu. That's I'll end out on this. Jane says, congratulations to you both. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on WFLA Now. Just kind of, again, I don't know how many more streaming opportunities I am going to get in the future because, of course, I will be out for a time. I will not be able to live stream when I am gone on parental leave. So an enormous thank you to all the unbelievably kind comments, all of the unbelievable advice that I received, and all of the people who messaged me about my wife and how she's doing. Nothing means more to me in the world as to how she is. So to hear people, ask and how she's doing and how she's dealing with everything, and obviously, being pregnant, of course, is a journey, and mothers out there know that far better than I ever will. But just hearing all of the all the support that has come out, and that really means a lot to me. And considering that we do, as one of our commenters noted earlier on this live stream, we so often. Yes, the emoji wall is active, by the way. You can see some emojis flying on screen. So if you comment with an emoji, it does. Yes, it pops up on screen. We were talking earlier about so often is the news negative, and people were saying, my goodness, when are we going to actually have some positive news to stream about, positive news to report on? And so I figured, yeah, what a great way to end the live stream by talking about the most positive thing going on in my life, which is, of course, my gorgeous, brilliant wife who is about to become a mom, and of course, as a result of that, me become a dad, and us being parents. So it means a lot to me to have the incredible support of you guys, and I will be back live streaming again in the future. You better believe it. I will, of course, be back on stream at some point. I don't know when. I am going to be solely focused on raising our little baby boy and doing everything that I can to be the best parent and dad that I can be. And believe me, the news will go on, with or without me. With or without me. Ocean Girl is saying, when is my wife due? It is later this month. So we are expecting a beautiful baby boy in the weeks ahead, and we cannot wait. We're like bursting with happiness, and just I'll share this little nugget. We worked really hard on making a really special nursery, and we haven't shown it to anybody yet. And that has been the most fun project of our entire year, is building this nursery and rolling up our sleeves and painting and me doing a little home improvement and doing the best that I can to provide a room that really is special. And so that we'll share that. I think we'll post some really fun stuff on my Instagram. Instagram is really the only place I post personal stuff. My other platforms, Facebook, Twitter /X, and even TikTok. That I like to just, Instagram is my primary venue for personal news and personal stuff. So anybody who is, anyone who's been unbelievably supportive and looking for that type of stuff, that's where it goes. I really appreciate everybody. Got to get going. I got to get home to my wife. That's where I'm going. So leave an emoji here on stream in the comment section. And again, my heart is just bursting, and an enormous thank you to all of you for being so incredibly kind. It means the world to me. I hope that everybody, wherever you're watching from, you can also drop a comment to let everybody know. And please do, because that gives us some context as to where you're watching from. Are you in Florida? Are you elsewhere in the U.S.? Are you watching from Europe or Australia, South Africa? We got some great people that join us internationally. Let us know in the comment section where you are watching from. And I hope wherever you are watching from that you have an incredible weekend. All our reports that we talked about on this live stream you can find on WFLA.com. I will see you on my other social media platforms. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend, everybody. Take care.